our little homestead, and today we're processing tomatoes for tomato sauce. This is going to be really fun. But we thought we'd also do a little test of the old school Victorio, I can never know how to pronounce it. Victorio? Mm-hmm. My camera person says Victorio. Camera person's also my lovely wife. And we bought a Kachina Pro. So we were going to kind of just do a little test, see which one works better. This one was manufactured in 1984. This one was manufactured in China probably about 6 months ago. So we're going to do a little side by side. There we go. We got some sweet, sweet pulp coming. Ugh. Okay, so the Victorio, it separates obviously the pulp and juice from the seeds and skins. What we do is we run the skins, what would be considered the waste bowl, through. We run it through a second time. And that's just basically to ensure we're getting the most out of every drop of tomato that we can. And I gotta say, my mom just gave us this Victorio, and I love it. And the tomatoes that we typically use for tomato sauce are the San Marzanos. They are a well-known variety used for tomato sauce just because they're so pulpy. There's not a lot of juice in them and they're just a beautiful tomato. But as you can see, this is what will be sauce eventually, and that is our waste product. Love the Victorio.
And this is actually our second run through, and that's how much more we got out of it the second time. So it's pretty awesome. And everything comes out pretty dry. And we get to feed it to the chickens and the turkeys, and they love it.
Scoop. Roll that beautiful tomato sauce footage. Processing tomatoes is always a dirty job. The Victorio, I don't know if you can see down here on the floor, it leaked a little bit. I don't know if that's because I put it together incorrectly or if the gasket's bad. But with the older Victorio that we had, it leaked a little bit there as well. This one not nearly as bad. But the action was clean, and by clean I mean smooth, I guess. So the action was very smooth as far as getting the tomatoes processed into pulp and skins and seeds. So now we're going to do the Kachina Pro. And this thing's got me a little nervous because, well, it's got like this action. Can you zoom down in there? So if you watch, see that? And I'm just scared every time it does that, I'm gonna get sprayed with tomato sauce or tomato. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna throw some San Marzanos in there just for like a side-by-side comparison. And here we go. It's spitting pretty good, and the action's a little bit rougher on it, and
it seems to be a lot wetter.
Yeah, it's not really. I mean the
pulp is coming out, but
and look, like literally, it's spitting tomato juice at me every time. I really got to press that down in there, and I really don't know.
Maybe if we put
I'm
more
gonna
in
load
there?
this up with tomatoes just to see what happens, because obviously it'll be blocked if
that's coming out of there like really wet. We'd have to run that through a couple times, honestly, I think. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. But I mean, in all fairness,
it works.
these are, I mean, there was only a couple San Marzanos in there that we used. So Yeah, it's a lot wetter. The hopper's smaller. It doesn't feel as... I mean, I guess if you're just processing small batches at home, I really think that this would be a good tool for
Yeah,
you.
I mean, there's a lot coming out.
But as far as the wetness of the byproduct there, like, you can see. Well, hopefully you can see. Like, that is something that's going to have to be run through a couple more times by our standards, so as to not waste the fruit, so to speak. In all fairness, I thought I would run the same tomatoes that I just ran through the Kachina, through the Victorio, just to see how wet the pulp was coming out of the Victorio, because we usually use the San Marzanos, but we're using up some of these other ones as well, just to add whatever flavor, taste, use these darn things up. So I'm gonna give this a go with these, and just to see. Nice thing about the Victoria, I don't have any juice now.
It's wet, but
It's wet, but if you can see what came out of the Kachina here, and this is what's coming out of the Victoria there. Not to say one's better than the other, I'm just saying for what we do, I think the Victoria might be a better device to use.
it's also thinner. Like the skins and seeds are smashed a little thinner.
What do you think?
Better job. I thought also if I was just going to make tomato paste or something and I didn't want to get this out, I would get the other one out just because it's simple to put together, and I don't know, I think it would work well for small batches. Alright, so we got our tomato puree in our 62 quart saucepan here. We got a recipe from my friend's wife for his mother's spaghetti sauce. We doubled it so that we could make a bunch so that we had some for winter. And we are sauteing some peppers and onions. There were no real directions. It was kind of just like throw everything in and cook it all down. So we thought that we would caramelize the onions and peppers first, and then we'll come back with the rest of the ingredients.
But first, check out this paddle.
This is what came to stir the pot with.
Yeah.
All right, so we have all of our spices and some sugar, and we are just waiting for it to cook down. It's actually a lot more red than it looks on camera, but it's getting there. So after it thickens, we will can it in the pressure canner for 25 minutes for a quart jar, and we will have spaghetti sauce.